All right, good morning, folks. It is day one of the Green River trip, which is going to be here in just a second. We're heading out to go get some breakfast first, and then we're going to head down to the river, and we're going to have a good time. 6 days and 5 nights. Pretty excited about it. It's going to be awesome. Okay, we're pulling up to Texas Riverways, where we are going to get ready to start packing to go do stuff here. Look at this awesome place. I think we're in the right place. It's gonna be awesome. Everybody's prepping, getting ready to go. All right, guys, we are here early morning. We're getting ready to go. As you can see, the folks are back here getting the stuff ready to go. We're gonna unload this truck here, and it's gonna be going into a trailer here in a little bit. So getting closer and closer to the Green River every moment. So it's gonna be great. All right, Matt and I are getting the truck unloaded here and getting ready. It's another awesome year, man.
Yes, sir.
Are you excited to be here again? There you are.
Do this again, absolutely.
All right, we're gonna continue getting this truck unloaded and getting things going. So this is the gear that's going with our group of 8. That stuff right there, all this stuff right here, some more stuff in the back of the truck, and then one more pile over here. So we got 4 boats, 8 people, and a whole bunch of gear. It's gonna be awesome. When you canoe and camp, you can bring extra items and really make it a comfortable experience. It was really nice because the canoe carries most of the weight. That is, until you have to load or unload it all, but that's another story altogether. Here's the trailer and the van that will take us and our gear to the Green River at Ruby Ranch. There was a lot of excitement in the air. Alright, so the loading of the gear has begun. You can see we slowly but surely getting this thing filled up. It's gonna be awesome. Alright, it's like playing a game of Tetris, except not as fast. The outfitter finished tying down the canoes while we gathered in front of the building for further instructions. Alright, we're all here getting ready to do our thing. The group listened as the outfitter explained several things about the adventure that we were about to begin. He shared some written information with Terry, our trip leader. The outfitter explained that there would be several pickup days available, just in case there was an emergency and we had to leave early. The outfitter also went over the finer points of the chemical toilet with us, as we listened intently.
Little pressure relief valve. You notice my face is over here. It's not like right here. Because of condensation, there will be a little bit of that water and enzyme meter that can spray out that pressure relief valve. So,
and then there was time for one more picture. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And today's adventure will begin with a single paddle. All right, here we are. We're in the van heading down to what was formerly known as Ruby Ranch, but still goes by the name, right?
Still goes by the name.
yeah, it'll always be.
I think we've all been smiling all morning. Our face is starting to hurt a little bit.
Yep.
So
Excited.
Yep, it's going to be great.
Good new stuff.
Yep, and it's a beautiful day out. All right, folks, we made it to Ruby Ranch. We're going to be unloading the trailer here just a little bit and getting the boats in the water. So probably in the next half hour, we'll be up and ready to go. After we arrived at the Ruby Ranch drop-off point, we all started to unload the van and the trailer. It was a nice group effort and everything went very well. Canoes were starting to come off the trailer, folks were prepping to go, while the rest of the gear was also being brought down to the river. And there it is, the Green River in Utah. 6 days and 5 nights, 8 friends, 4 canoes, and a whole bunch of gear. All right, we're bringing the gear down here in a little bit. It'll start getting loaded in the canoes, and then we're gonna head downstream. Looking forward to it. Comes some more of the gear right now. Gear and canoes are coming together. It's gonna be awesome. All right, we're getting there. You can see we're pretty loaded up here.
Okay, toss in a couple extra gallons of water there.
Awesome, thank you, sir.
Okay, there's an empty spot for it. You gotta get it in somewhere.
The rest of the boats are getting really close as well. It's gonna be awesome. A quick group photo before we launch. Matt, the Southwest backpacker, was the first to sit in the canoe on the water, and he was super excited. All right, folks, we are on the water, Green River. You can see all our gear here in the middle. I will say it's taken us a couple minutes to adapt to the load. It's the heaviest canoe I've ever been in. The canoe's not heavy, but the gear added up together is. And it's a beautiful day. Nice day out here, and we'll catch up with the rest of our folks here in just a little bit. All right, breathing a sigh of relief already. All right, folks, I don't know how far down the river we've gone. I'm probably assuming about a mile or so, but it's already starting to change from this sort of bosque look on the right to these canyon walls on the left. And it's just gonna get bigger and more beautiful as we go here on the beautiful Green River. Pretty awesome. All right, there's some of our partners in crime on this trip. I think the other boat's back there a little ways, so we have 4 boats total, 8 people. A lot of beautiful rock, and Daniel is aiming us for some shade over here on the left-hand side. And I'll start paddling here in a second too, I promise. I can't help myself though, I have to film everything. It's beautiful.
I wish I would have brought binoculars.
Hey Daniel, what do you think, brother?
Kick ass, man. You cannot beat the feelings. It's like being high and then high and then high.
Oh yeah, look at those walls. Is that a bird of prey? Ooh, I think that's a pterodactyl, actually. Oh. My mistake. All right, folks, check this out. I mean, I've been saying this all day, but my face is hurting from smiling so much. It's just a beautiful place out here, a beautiful day. The sound of the water against the rock wall there is cool. Enjoying the moment here. This is beautiful. And that breeze feels so good. It's a good sign to see an eagle. Look at that sky, man. Isn't that awesome? Ooh, that tree growing out of the rock, that's kind of neat. Yeah, the big one and the small one, they're both kind of neat, like Lord of the Rings looking. Matt and Terry asked us to float up next to their canoe. They had a map book they wanted to share with us. All right, guys, thanks. These guys, they just gave me this cool book to look at here. I'll show you a little bit later when we get to camp, but it represents the river and all the little things that you can see along the way. So we're on page 23 is where we're located right now, but I'll show it to y'all a little bit later. It should be a lot of fun. And obviously we're not going to do what these guys are doing on the cover of the book, which is dumping their canoe. Yeah, we caught up with everybody here. Chilling and like a villain. All right, looking good, guys.
It's amazing how smooth these shots are on the boat.
That's fantastic. That's how I was able to get some of those scene shots.
Trent Alcove was the campsite we hoped for, but unfortunately it was taken when we arrived. After the last of our party arrived, we agreed we needed to look for a different campsite. We decided to push on down the river and continue our journey into paradise. The way I had it figured, there's no bad campsites here. We continued down the river with wonder in our eyes and the possibility of a campsite around every bend. We stopped again a short time later, and Matt explored to see if there was a campsite available.
Well,
Yeah, looks pretty choked out.
nothing over on this other side either.
Couldn't even get in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay. Means we continue to move on, see what else we can find.
that's exactly what that means.
right.
Unfortunately.
Here comes the Southwest Backpacker.
22 miles, we're almost there.
Yeah, look at the intensity of the sky against that red rock. It's just so... It looks like a painting everywhere we look. Well, this certainly is a big area we could camp out over here, but we're going to be in the sun for a while, that's for sure. But like they said, they have tarps, so we'll get some tarps set up, we'll have some shade, it'll be awesome! Okay, let me get to paddling here so I can get us helping. All right, after canoeing for a few miles, we found a pretty nice spot here. It's gonna be sweet. You can see all 4 boats are lined up, and we're gonna be pulling gear off the boats here in a few minutes and setting up back here somewhere. What an awesome spot. This day has just been so perfect so far, and now we're gonna have this beautiful area here where we can set up a camp and just really thoroughly enjoy a nice relaxing afternoon and evening. So
We unloaded the canoes through the magic of time lapse.
okay, mostly empty canoe. Everybody else is a pretty good spot as well. And then we got a bunch of gear over here that came out of our boat that we'll be heading back down to camp here in just a little bit. And back there, you see some of the people. Right back there, that's where camp's gonna be for the night. So stay tuned and I'll show you as much as I can. Look at this guy carrying stuff like a pro. And that purple one's the heaviest one though, isn't it?
Everyone pitched in and moved the gear from the canoes to base camp. The weather was perfect and we barely broke a sweat. Folks fine-tuned and removed the last gear from their canoes. In no time we were unloaded and felt we deserved a break. We all grabbed our chairs and headed down the sandy beach next to the river for a hangout session. Nothing beats a nice day, good friends, a beautiful location, and great conversation.
All right, so we're here taking a little break. We found a nice camp spot in Southwest Backpacker. What do you think about the first day so far?
So far, so good. We got some good timing this morning, and we managed to get past Trent Alcove. It was taken, but we might be maybe a mile or less from that area. We got this wonderful beach spot right here, so I can't complain. I'm loving it.
All right, it's looking pretty awesome. Terry, any thoughts?
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of the first time that we've ever been pushed out and haven't been able to make Trent Alcove. So part of me wants to be bummed, but this is amazing. And the temperature, oh, the temperature's perfect. So we're outside in the sun right now, but it's
And
not,
we're not suffering.
baking.
It's not oppressive.
painful. Yeah, it feels great. And this is going to be a good campsite.
All right. Daniel, any thoughts on your first time being here?
Purple Martians.
Martians.
All right, that's perfect. I love it.
Like in the sun.
It's
What
awesome,
was that
guys.
all about,
Really,
you
really
know?
loving it.
We have only
They're not sure about us, dude.
Yeah.
There's a bigger one up there. He's good size, actually.
Yeah, this one's, he's playing dead or he's just soaking up the sun.
Playing good.
He's playing possum.
Well, he's a big one, man. He must be the Godzilla of them. His face looks crooked as fuck.
Yeah.
There's another one.
Holy cow, dude. That's like, we've seen at least a dozen of them already, I bet.
And they're still everywhere, man. There's them down here now.
Alright, we found a spot where the tents can go. Daniel's getting his gear pulled out and ready to go. Mine's right here. And it's gonna go up over here somewhere, I think. So that'll be my tent here in a minute, and then it'll be this view. Can't wait to wake up in the morning and look out the front door and see that. Alright, folks. It's a few minutes later, and here you can see the tents are up and ready to go. I gotta get my sleeping bag in there still, but that's coming soon. You know, for the regular viewer on my channel, you guys know who the Southwest Backpacker is because he's been in a few of the videos. He's right here today with us, setting up his camp for the night. So what are you planning on doing? I don't see a tent.
Don't have a tent with me. I brought a tent with me, but we've got a wonderful week planned ahead, and there's no chance that we saw of any rain. So I like to sleep underneath the stars out here in the desert. It's a risk that you kind of take. You know, things can get on you when you're out here versus a tent where you're kind of enclosed. But anytime I've done it out here, I've never had anything jump on me or bite me or anything like that. So I'm gonna take the risk again and try to do it for 5 nights in a row out here. So I got a piece of plastic underneath here and my camp pad on top of that, and I'll put my sleeping bag on top of that, and we'll call that good. And I'll have this beautiful sky that I can look at tonight with all the stars and constellations, and should be able to see the Milky Way really good out here because we're out here in the middle of the desert and away from all the residual city lights. So yeah, it should be really awesome and epic this evening. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you, Matt, so much. I appreciate it. I opted to go for the tent today. There's my tent's on the left over there, the gray one, and the green one is my brother's. But we're gonna possibly later in the trip sleep under the stars as well. I've been wanting to do that, and I'm excited. I hope I can film the stars or get some pictures. I watched some tutorials. We'll see if we can do it on camera later, though.
You guys get at least one night under the stars. You'll love it.
All right, thanks, man.
You're welcome.
All right, so it's getting later in the day. You can see all our canoes are here on the shoreline from earlier. They're all unloaded and ready to be reloaded tomorrow morning and continuing the journey. My brother Daniel and I, we got our tent set up here. Beautiful spot. Can't really complain. I mean, just look at that. How nice of a spot can you even picture or dream of? That just blows my mind. I love it. Okay, well, while I'm over here, we are going to check out the tents that I was just talking about. Daniel's got this cool green one here. I got the gray one over there. Let's go take a look inside. First, there's this cool walking stick that my brother carved. He's still working on it, but he's done a lot of cool artwork on it. It's really sweet. And then his tent right here, it's really cool. It's a little, like, one-person tent. You can see his sleeping bag and pillow in there. It's got this cool little rain fly on it. He's ready for anything. And then mine's right over here. A little bit bigger, but equally as useful. And I always have a little front porch area. Take off my boots and stuff. And then my inner dwelling. 2 little air mattresses, sleeping bag, and pillow. I'm good to go. Alright, folks, it's getting later in the day. It's almost 5 p.m. on the first day. Everybody's set up with the tents, and about an hour we're going to do dinner. We're going to do my famous Frito Pie tonight. I don't know if it's famous, but it's going to be a Frito Pie. And I'll show you some shots of it as we make it and the end result, what everybody thinks. Now, quick side note, I decided to bring some musical instruments with me on this. I brought a flute, just right here. A friend of mine made this, and I bought it for $20, and we'll get to this a little bit later, but that's one of the instruments that I brought. And my buddy Eddie loaned me this guitar. Actually, he's thinking about selling it to me. I might buy it. It's a nice little small acoustic guitar. And the reason for bringing these on a river trip of all things is I thought I'm going to make YouTube videos out of this, obviously, and why not write some music while I'm here that reflects what I'm seeing at the moment and then use that in the soundtrack later. So I'm going to jam out for a little bit, see what we got here, and see if I can come up with something for what I'm looking at this exact moment. So this is what I'm seeing at this exact moment. So jam out a little bit and see what happens. Not a bad view out my tent. No, not at all. Very beautiful.
Purple Martians.
Oh, hey there, folks. I didn't see you. Anyway, here, welcome to the Green River, Day 1, 2019. And behind me, you can see there's a plethora of kitchen supplies and foods. We're going to make some Frito Pie here in a bit. So I like black beans and pinto beans to go in that. That's a good start right there. Of course, tomato sauce helps balance it out and make it not too dry. I got 2 cans of this just in case, but it probably only needs 1. And what is Frito Pie but without hatch green chilies? You gotta have this, otherwise it's not officially Frito Pie. Now I got regular Fritos for the pie itself, but you know, in the theme of Fritos, had to get the scoops and the bean dip. So let's start that before we even get the meal going. One of my favorite things from childhood all the way till I'm as old as I am now. Thumbs up. Time to get to work. Yeah. Alright, the base for any Frito Pie is your meat. This is actually ground turkey and ground beef pre-cooked at home. And I'm going to start putting other ingredients in just a minute. Just want to get this nice and hot and steamy, and we'll move on to other things. First, get some beans going in here of the pinto variety. Get that kind of mixed up just a tiny bit. Now let's get our other beans. And I think the juice and all really helps too, because it's a lot of meat to put in there. So. Go. Good old-fashioned black beans. Alright, let's get that stirred up. Okay, next little piece going in here. I said I brought 2 of these just in case. We'll see if one's enough. I mean, that is a lot of beans and meat right there. So, alright, it's starting to look like something, but there's something missing. We need some hatch green chili. And I have a feeling this little can was not enough. I should have got a big can, but lesson learned. We'll get more next time. Smell that green chili. It smells awesome. There you go. Operation Frito Pie. Looks like a success. We'll get some feedback here in a minute once people start chowing down. You know, I know it's a weird concept. Some folks haven't heard of a Frito Pie probably, and it's whatever kind of meat and bean substitute or building you want to make here on the stove. Okay, so we're going to start building one. The base is obviously Fritos, and then we're going to scoop a bunch of this stuff on top, so just give me a second. I'll take a minute. Big scoop of this. Put it right on top of the Fritos. Spread it out a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. There's plenty here. It's kind of similar to cowboy beans, but it's got its differences too. Okay. Then you bring it over to the cheese table without tripping over stuff, of course. And we sprinkle a little bit of cheese on top. So that is your basic Frito pie right there. Very simple, but fun to eat and very tasty and filling too.
Not bad, dude.
After that very yummy dinner and night crept in slowly, we decided to partake in the evening ritual of the campfire experience. It was a chilly evening outside, but the campfire made for a warm and inviting place for the last couple of hours of day one. The moon slowly came up, and the stars were amazing. What a beautiful campsite, and a great first day on the Green River. The evening was very peaceful, and I felt the need to get some sleep. So, it was off to the tent for a little shut-eye.
Alright folks, that finishes the first day. It's going on about 9:45 here in Utah. Had an absolutely wonderful, great time paddling down the river on the first day of our 6-day adventure. And we're going to wrap it up here, but as usual, love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other. See you tomorrow. Good morning, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience. Today is day 2 of 6 on the Green River adventure here in Utah. Had a pretty good night's sleep last night, and sun's getting ready to come up, and it's a beautiful day so far. You can see the sun is just starting to hit the upper rocks here. It's such a beautiful color and tone. It's almost mind-blowing, but it's awesome. I'm loving every moment of it. What a great, beautiful way to start the day. So there you go. Camp number 1 served us well. All right. It's a little chilly this morning, but other than that, absolutely great. Loving it. Really quick talk about bathroom duties out here. I hate to bring that up, but there's probably going to be some folks that are curious about what you do when you're out here. And it's not as simple as just digging a hole and going to the bathroom. There's a lot of legal things you got to deal with out here. And one of them is you don't pee on the ground, because it will become one big litter box out here very quickly when there's so many people going down the river all the time. So the law is, here in Utah, you pee in the river, and the river dilutes it and returns it to the earth. But if you got to go number 2, it's another story altogether. Allow me to show you what I'm talking about. I know you're thinking going to the restroom when you're outdoors is probably a spiritual thing, and it is a little bit, but mostly it's just a thing you have to do. And right here is one of the things I'm going to have to do in a couple minutes. They call this the groover, and it is the toilet for going number 2. It's a chemical toilet. You're not allowed to go number 2 out here. You can't just dig a hole and go. It has to go in here. No one's used it yet on the trip, so I'm going to be the first one. But I will say this is going to be my view for taking care of the bathroom duties, and it's not a bad view. All right, first time on the trip having to do that, and it's done. It's over with. Now the day can begin. Whew, boy, I feel a lot better.
What a beautiful campsite that we were fortunate enough to find. It was a nice, cozy spot for a night of sleep, and a very peaceful experience. But it was time to move on, and we started packing up our gear. We were about to say goodbye to this amazing campsite and head downriver for another day of adventures and fun in one of the most beautiful places I'd ever seen. felt an almost overwhelming feeling of peace and tranquility.
All right, the site looks a lot emptier without tents in it, but nonetheless beautiful. It's morning. Everybody is pretty much packed except for me because I'm always filming, but we'll be done here in a couple minutes. There's Daniel smiling nicely, thank you. So we're gonna get all this stuff and all that stuff into here, so stay tuned.
We loaded up the canoe through the magic of time-lapse. It took us a few minutes to figure it out, but eventually we got it and packed the canoe nicely. A short time later, we were ready to head down the river.
All right, we're fully loaded and ready to go. What do you think, Danielson? All right, we're heading that direction. Wish us luck, here we go. Yeah. All right, folks, we are in the early morning part of the paddle. Still a little chilly here, we found out in the shade in the morning, but it feels nice. It's like super air conditioning. Daniel was just pointing out, look at that view ahead of us, and I'm blown away by the reflection of the rocks in the water, because it reminds me of a Bob Ross kind of painting. It's just so outstanding. If I could paint, I would paint stuff like this. My neck is getting sore from looking up at all the beauty all the time. I know, it's some unusual rock formations for sure. To the left, to the left. Oh, that's really beautiful. Look at that. I mean, it's like a Bob Ross painting. I keep saying that over and over again, but it's just amazing. Bob Ross probably didn't really do a lot of Southwestern things like this, but it reminds me because he painted a lot of water features. But yeah, it's just, it's awesome. All right, Daniel, I was talking about a thing called a blind arch. To the right up here, you can see when it's starting to form, where all the light color rock is up there. See how it's falling apart, and there's like starting to be an arch above it and around it. So maybe a few centuries or thousands of years from now, that might be a hole through there and you could see to the other side. But Matt told me those are called a blind arch, and I just thought that was kind of neat. All right, there's Southwest Backpacker and Terry. Thank you everybody for having us on this wonderful trip with you. It's freaking awesome. All right, I'll get some nice pictures to you later.
Oh, dude, exactly.
I told him it was like crocodile Dundee.
Hey, might be.
All right, folks, as we're heading down the river here more, it's just amazing, all the beauty and the splendor and the different rock formations. It's just different than anything I've ever experienced before. And it's also very beautiful. And the skies are brilliant. Look at that.
Makes your life look so small. It makes you feel so small.
I agree. I feel kind of insignificant right now too in these surroundings. The style of YouTube videos that I do are meant to be reality based, kind of in the moment, no second takes kind of thing. Although every once in a while we'll do a second take to get a hiking segment or like a drone shot of us doing something. But most of the time it's what you're seeing on my YouTube channel is what's actually happening at that moment. You know, it's not a reenactment, it's not acting. We're just being and experiencing. That's why it's called James Blackburn Experience. I got some friends that I made through YouTube that I know him now, but kind of like Southwest Backpacker Matt, I met him because of YouTube. All right, we made it to camp number 2. Here's the last of our party. You guys come on up, I'll help you if you want to throw me the rope. I'll get rid of the camera here in just a second. But yeah, here we are. Boats are parked. We'll go up there in just a minute to see what's going on. So the whole group pitched in and got all the gear up here to our base camp. All right, there it is. It has begun. Dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. All right, folks, we are at camp for the day. Day number 2. You can see a beautiful spot here. All 4 boats tied off. Whew, a little out of breath because we've been moving a lot of gear. But it's so beautiful here. And then the entrance is right here. So we're going to go up and show you what it looks like to see this camp. One really cool thing about it is that it's the first time any of us have camped here. It's a new discovery for the entire trip of 8. So it's going to be awesome. So fascinating and beautiful, and nice little trail going back through here. Truly feel great about this camp spot. You can see Daniel's over there already getting set up in the shade. He's got a good spot. There's our view. Just can't get better than that. There's Terry. He is prepping the water with a thing called aluminum sulfate, I believe. Is that the name of it? Alum for short?
Alum. No, it is alum.
So
Yep.
what that does is it's something you put in the water and it pulls all the particles to the bottom, so the water's a lot more easy to filter. Cool little shortcut when you have silty water like this. But thanks once again, man.
Yeah, no worries.
Appreciate it.
Hope you're having fun.
It's a blast. So back here you can see we got more base camp going on, and we got our kitchen area will be over here. It's just outstandingly beautiful. Terry's gonna buy this piece of real estate and camp out there for the night. And then back over here is Matt, the Southwest backpacker, with his classic hammock setup. There it is.
Kind of nice and comfortable out here in the bottom of the Green River and underneath these old oak trees. This is an awesome spot, and glad I brought the hammock. I thought if we run into a spot like this is a perfect place to set it up, and so I'm glad I did.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Check out this awesome setup he's got. All right, so what do you say now we go back over to where I'm camping and I show you where my tent's gonna go. Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
All right. Behind our camp is this, also very beautiful. I mean, it's a 360-degree view. It's better than virtual reality because it's reality. All right, so my brother Daniel and I are back here. We got this cool little shaded tree area. This is kind of the entrance. And look at that, he's almost set up already. My tent will go back here in the shade, and maybe a little bit later, a little nap in the shade here. Here's all the gear that we brought. Well, mostly I brought. He had everything in one backpack, believe it or not, and I have 6 bags of other stuff. But anyway, let's get off here and get set up. But meanwhile, when we wake up in the morning, that's gonna be one of the first things we see. Can't go wrong. All right, so we've been here relaxing and getting camp set up. As you can see, it's all taken care of. Very beautiful. We claimed this little beautiful spot of real estate right under this trees here, so we're in the shade. And what do you think, brother?
It's awesome, man.
It's gonna be cool, huh?
Very cool.
All right, so we are gonna go on a hike now with Matt, the Southwest backpacker, who also happens to have a drone with him.
I've got a drone.
So we might get some shots from the sky for you guys, so stay tuned because we're gonna go hiking back into here, and who knows what we're gonna see.
We're gonna try to get up there to the top and When we get to the top, we'll see if we can launch the drone and harass these guys here back at camp from way up there.
You know, I guess I can agree with what he said, because
because
there is some truth to
You're
it.
absolutely right.
And then chuck it over to the right.
Yep.
All right. Matt, you know what I'm going to say next, right? The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step.
That's right.
We start all my hikes that way. I say that same thing. But what I mean is, I'm not scared of the 1,000 miles. I look forward to it.
I do too. I totally look forward to it.
So we're journey of 1,000 miles and we're 10 steps into it. Can't wait to see what else is next.
The road I like to take is the road less taken.
There you go.
Yep.
That is true. Southwest Backpacker speaks knowledge.
Right.
He is a wizard of
We got
outdoors.
a little path that goes this way, but we're gonna go this way.
Yeah, we're gonna go up that way, I think.
All right, there we go. All right, stay tuned, folks. I'll show you as we go along.
We continued hiking through the desert for a while. That is, until we started finding our way up higher with every step. My thoughts were feeling the tranquility of this place, and I felt truly blessed to be able to hike with these fine gentlemen in such a beautiful and rugged environment. The muscles in my legs were feeling the strain of going up, but before I knew it, I was on top of the first small ridge and heading down the trail to meet up with the rest of the hiking team. The landscape was so intense and beautiful that I felt tiny in this universe, but at the same time I felt completely connected to it all. It was as if I could feel the universe flowing in my veins. I was nothing and everything all at once. The beauty was within me.
Wow. The sky is intense and beautiful. Look at these crazy guys. They're heading up to this upper ledge here. It's quite a healthy climb there. You got it, Danielson. You're looking good there, man. Nice. Yep, rock climbing skills coming in handy. Yeah, good job. All right, guys. We're going up. I just showed you a video of Matt and my brother Daniel doing this little section. It looked pretty intimidating when I was over there in the trail. It's even more intimidating when you're standing here looking at it. But I think I see a route and I'm going to do it. And thanks to Matt, the Southwest Backpacker, for capturing it on camera. It's trickier than it looks. Not too bad. Once you get to that part, that was the tricky part there. But okay, maybe I was making a bigger deal out of it than I should have. But we're gonna continue up. Just cut whenever you're ready, Matt. All right.
This is so cool.
The hiking was rugged but rewarding. With every step, we continued closer to our destination. The views everywhere were unbelievable, and it had me starting to wonder, why am I so fortunate to be able to do something so awesome and with my brother Daniel? Well, the answer is simple, really, because we all deserve to live a great life and have wonderful experiences together.
We're climbing up this. We're gonna try to summit this bad boy. And then Matt is going to do some drone flying. All right, we're about to summit this bad boy. Yeah, it's a false summit. You're probably right. Oh, yeah, we're not at the top yet. It always does this to me.
We realized that we weren't on top yet, so we stopped to take in the view. I had dreamed of seeing the Green River for years, and finally, here I was. It was better than I imagined. Plus, I got to experience all this with my brother Daniel and my great friend Matt, the Southwest Backpacker. What a great day.
So up here on top, this is what we're surrounded by. I'm blown away by it. Look at that. There's even like a little hole through the rock up there, right there through the, see the sky through it. Anyway, we're looking for a spot to take a break in the shade, have some drinks and some snacks, and a little bit of relaxation time so we don't keep sweating so much. Okay. And the clumsiest. Ooh, that is a nice spot. Sweet. Up into the beautiful overhanging rock area. Plenty of nice shade. Alright. Awesome. Very cool.
Good call.
Really neat. These different rock formations here. Yep, it's like a big arch, kind of.
The weather was absolutely perfect as we continued climbing up to the next level. You couldn't ask for a better day or a better hike at this exact moment. I was beginning to feel very philosophical, and I had this thought. We all have bridges to cross and weight to bear. At times it may seem impossible or even dangerous. It's at these times where I feel we live the most. Living life on the edge of impossible is where we feel the most alive. And I was incredibly happy to share this with my hiking partners.
All right, we just came up this to reveal what I'm seeing on the other side here. Look at this. Wow. Just amazing. Wow, wow, wow.
The landscape seemed so vast and ancient to us. The feeling of being connected with the planet was a beautiful thing. I was out of breath but full of life. I felt at one with nature, at one with the vast desert and canyon lands. I felt at one with the earth and the universe. I knew I'd felt like this before, but it had been a while, and I was glad to be back where I belonged, the wilderness.
So camp is down there where you see the trails. We hiked all the way to the top of this thing. I'll show you a shot of it from the bottom here right now, just so you guys can get an idea of where we're at. Maybe I'll put an arrow on it to point to where we're at right now, but beautiful. There's enough space to crawl underneath there if you had for an emergency. That would be awesome.
Ballet.
All right, here I come to save the day.
We continued on further up the rocky terrain.
Almost to the top. This is so awesome. What a beautiful place. Look at all this.
We finally made it to the top and wandered around the beautiful desert landscape. The views in all directions were amazing. I mean, how could I not be blown away? Well, to be honest, I was blown away and was feeling the energy of the area flowing like an electrical current throughout my wild spirit. We all felt connected to this untamed desert landscape. It was a part of us now.
All right. This may look a little silly, but it's keeping the sun off my ears and back of my neck, so it's working. Anyway, we summited the area that we're at. We're probably in pretty much the highest spot, or pretty close to it, and we are going to do some dronification now. Matt's getting set up and ready to go. So there's the drone. There's the pilot.
We're gonna give it our best shot. Let's see what happens.
All right, rock and roll.
Yeah.
We're going to see what it looks like. He's going to film out here kind of pointed at us and then back away, and we're going to get to see everything that's back here behind us and see how small we look in all of this world out here. All right, so I know I promised you guys some drone shots. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. It's flashing green on the back, but that's it. It doesn't seem like it wants to calibrate to fly out here, so we are not going to have drone shots today. We'll try again at the next camp and see what happens, but you still can't complain. This view is amazing even without a drone. You can't go wrong. Right, brother?
Yes.
He is yesing me,
Yes.
so let's fade to black.
Purple Martians.
We did make it up to the top. We're hanging out up here. No drone, unfortunately, but you can't beat this view. It's absolutely outstanding. And now we're gonna hike back down and see if we can get back down to camp.
Back down to camp.
Here we go. Okay, so after our adventure on the top, we are heading back down to camp. Trying to find a route down this. It almost looks impossible because there's a lot of steep, crazy stuff, but you hike around, you find a nice non-steep area and you just kind of climb down it. I'm loving it. All right, folks, some of you know who watched my videos. Last year I had an incident in the Gila Wilderness where I almost didn't make it out alive. And one of the things I had to do to survive was climb down something like this backwards to get to the water, and for some odd reason up here on top it just got me a little bit. Something came back from last year and it got me, so I'm going to try to climb this and stay calm and not let it get me, because when I was young I would have climbed this with no thought whatsoever. I would have done it, but Matt's going to film and I'm going to head on down now, so here we go. Nice thing about this rock is it's very grippy for your hands and your feet. And then Matt and my brother point out this big step here, which is beautiful. That was a little bit of a struggle, but
we can all continue the adventure.
all right, yeah. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I appreciate it.
No worries.
Thanks, brother. All right, so we just came all down that somehow. And then I came across this spot right here where there's two different kinds of rock. Kind of looks like the moon or Mars or something. Look at all this. Just weird rock here that's different than the rest of the rock that's around it. I'm on another planet. We found a well-traveled trail and decided to follow it for a while, which was nice because the trail took us lower down the canyon, but a lot more gradually. Okay, we made it down this thing, climbed to the top and climbed all the way back to the bottom. I'm a little beat, but wow, what an experience. We arrived back at the bottom near our camp as the sun was getting lower in the sky. Sunset was not too far away, and it was nice to be off the canyon walls with the light on our side. I looked back and decided I needed some photographs of the Red Rock Canyon wall that we just hiked up and back down. What a wonderful experience and fun adventure. So glad I made it to the Green River Canyonlands area and was standing here being a part of it all. Alright, sun is starting to set on the rocks there. I wanted to show you the beautiful view around here and where my brother Daniel and I put our tents at. We found this nice little tree cove right here. It's been in the shade since we got here, and now that the sun's setting, it's really in the shade. But what a nice spot. After that great hike, Terry and Matt went over the map book to determine how many river miles we did that day.
Turns out it was around 11 miles of paddling down the beautiful Green River in Utah. The map book was great and very helpful. Matt explains a little further.
We passed June's Bottom. That's where we camped last night. Somewhere in June's Bottom, maybe even on that sandbar. And then I think you're probably either in here or maybe right in here.
All right, folks, you heard it here first. Camping is going to be awesome. All right, guys, after our epic hike of the day, climbing up to the top of that thing, we're back at camp. And we're getting a nice fire going. Matt got it really fed here, so it's going to go for a while. It's nice and warm. I think I'll get some slow motion footage of this.
The campfire was warm and nice. Several of us gathered and enjoyed it together. The moon was starting to rise above the canyon walls as the sun continued to set. The evening came on slowly, and after a good dinner, I noticed that two of our party were standing on top of the canyon wall that we had just done a couple hours earlier. And then we had an amazing sunset, and I felt once again connected to the universe in a really good way. The scenery was beautiful and vast, and it had me wishing to never leave. What a great day.
Oh yeah, it looks like a Muse concert.
Is it?
Oh man, that's trippy. That is awesome. Very cool, man.
That was incredible.
Fun stuff.
Several folks decided to stay and enjoy the campfire, but I decided to retire and get some shut-eye back at the tent. Day 2 did not disappoint. As I went into my tent for some sleep, I was excited to see what tomorrow would bring.
Love, love. Hate, hate. Take care of each other. See you tomorrow. All right, good morning, folks. It is the beginning of day number 3. We had a wonderful day yesterday. Great paddling, awesome campsite, and the Southwest Backpacker, my brother and I climbed to the top of this thing and went way back on it and explored, and it was amazing. Now everybody is getting the gear ready to go down. It's early morning and we're going to take off here in a little bit. So stay tuned. A lot more beauty coming our way. All right, some of the faithful crew here doing their thing as the sun starts to come up on top of the mountains here, or on top of the canyon, I mean. All right, camp's all broken down.
Camp's all broken down. Got
Looking-
breakfast coffee going on, and got all the gear hauled out down to the boats. We're ready
Yep.
to start day 3.
Day 3, yeah, it's gonna be great. And we saw some deer this morning, huh, Daniel?
Yes.
We did. That was a great sight
Some-
too, man.
Some baby deer.
Coming in back behind us, just
staring at us, not seeing where they're
bouncing up and down.
Yeah, no, that was cool. All right, well, we're gonna head down to the boats here in a few minutes and get everything on the boats and ready to head out. All right, so up here in our corridor is where we prep all the gear before it heads down the sand steps here to the boats. And we do it like a chain gang, and so nobody has to climb up and down this thing a bunch of times. Works pretty well.
As the morning sun started to rise, we continued to pack the gear onto the canoes. It was a beautiful morning so far.
First boat is fully loaded and they're about to launch. There you go. Awesome, guys.
Yeah. Just float for a while.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
All right, second boat just launched. See you guys down the river.
After the second canoe launched, there was a feeling of excitement in the early morning air. My brother Daniel helped the third canoe get ready. Then we would load the last canoe and be on our way.
All right, boat number 3 is launched, and we're gonna finish loading up boat 4 and head out here ourselves in just a few minutes. Okay, here we go, folks. Boat number 4 is officially launching from day 2 camp on the beginning of day 3. We're gonna flip this boat around and head downstream. Oh, look, brother's already got it going. I'll catch up with you here in just a second, man. we make a good paddling team. We make a good team doing anything, really. Look, rock climbing is a prime example, but canoeing too. All right. So there you go, folks. We're gonna shut the camera down for a little bit and head downstream, catch up with our friends. All right. It's gonna be beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful out. All right, folks, yesterday when we were hiking, the rock here on the left, you see there's like a couple boulders on top that are separated. We think we hiked up and we're standing on that point yesterday. I guess because I have video of it, I'll be able to for sure check that out when I get home and edit all this, but there it is. Heading down the Green River early in the morning, sun's coming up. There's nothing to complain about. Perfect morning.
We continued to paddle down the beautiful Green River in the chill of the early morning air. The sun was on my face and it felt warm and nice.
All right, folks, as we're continuing our journey here, you can see we are heading down the river here, and nice sunny warm morning, feeling really good. You can see a couple more of our canoes up ahead here, but over here to my left on that rock where there's a bush just to the right of it is a blue heron. Let me zoom in and show it to you, see if you can make that out right there. We just saw it flying and it landed right where you see it now, and it was just really cool. It's always nice to be able to see some big wildlife like that, and those birds are pretty good size.
It felt really great to be out here on this river, taking in the views from a canoe as we paddled onward. Everywhere around us were these amazing red canyon walls. The Green River was calm and tranquil as we took in all this beauty.
All right, we pulled over to take a break here for a minute, but I wanted to share the view with you guys. There's Terry and Matt over on the other side, heading through frame. Beautiful place. Awesome. All right, there you go. Canoe City.
The Green River was calm, beautiful, and serene. I definitely felt connected with this place, and I was so glad I was here.
Anyway, this is where we are at on the map. This is a pretty notable thing up here from September 1st, 1909. Although it looks so fresh still, you gotta wonder if it's been touched up over the years. I'm gonna take a quick look here in the map book and find out exactly where that location's at. So let's take a look.
I've seen many videos on YouTube, but this would be my first time being there in person to witness the splendor. As we continued down the river, I felt like the luckiest person in the world. I'd been dreaming of being here and experiencing this place for close to a decade. And now, here I was in the middle of it all, paddling my way down the Green River in Utah, and it was even better than I imagined.
Man, it's just so beautiful every place all the way around. The rock is beautiful, the formations and the cracks all together. The greenery around the bottom of the river is also very neat. It's something that you probably see on every river, is everything gathers to the water, whether it's an animal or a plant, huh? We all need it. Beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome too. It just keeps going.
Go to the right, brother.
How's that? A little more?
A little while later, we arrived at our next campsite.
Real close.
Nice.
Yeah.
Here's our chain gang. See how this works? We're getting up the hillsides.
We passed the gear up the hillside and worked as a great team. In almost no time, we had the canoes completely unloaded.
All right. Great team effort getting stuff off the boats and up here. You can see some up back there behind me, and then down here you can see the chain of people as the gear's coming up this way. Makes life easier on all of us when everybody pitches in. It's a lesson that we can all learn in life. Pitch in, pull your own weight, help each other.
The views from where we docked our canoes was nothing short of amazing. Every day we spent on the Green River was better than the last. I'm so glad I finally made it here, and with these wonderful people.
Call this bee camp because there's some bees at the entrance. I'll go down and show them to you here in a little bit, but meanwhile, right now, everybody's doing what I'm doing, prepping their gear, getting their space set up. I'm gonna put a tent right in here under these trees. It should be nice. I'm gonna have myself a neighbor over here, Matt, Southwest Backpacker, and another neighbor back there you see through the bushes. That's my brother Daniel. He's getting set up. It looks like it's gonna be a beautiful spot to stay for the night.
A great spot.
After setting up my tent, I went back down to the canoes and took in the view. The beauty of this campsite was mesmerizing, and I felt connected to this spot immediately. My brother and I started planning a short hike right after we set up our tents. We decided early on that we were going to explore as much as we could with the time we had here in Utah. This was definitely some of the most beautiful camping we'd ever done.
All right, folks, day 3. Sun is getting lower and lower in the sky, as you can see. I wanted to show you something real quick. My brother Daniel has his tent right here. I mean, it just looks like one of the most ultimate camping spots in the world. And that's what's behind the tent. What he sees out the front door of the tent is just as beautiful and magnificent as this. So allow me to show you right now. So this is his view from his front door right now. You can see the Green River down below. And we're going to be floating down this thing again sometime tomorrow. This is amazing. I'm really blown away by it. River and all.
We hiked next to the river for a while and explored the area. The views everywhere were mind-blowing and I could not stop smiling. What a great day to be alive and experience this wonderful area of the American Southwest. Wow. Just wow.
I don't know. See where, if it takes you anywhere.
We can start right here. I'm just getting that little stretch of shit. So this trail gets kind of thick.
I was experiencing so much all at once that I was at a loss for words. We continued down the trail, curious about what lies ahead. The explorer came out in us, and suddenly we were Indiana Jones and were in some exotic land looking for a lost treasure, that treasure being a beautiful location full of wonder. As we continued down the trail, we found several nice campsites along the way. We knew we wanted to remember these spots for next time we decided to visit our new friend, the Green River.
All right, folks, while we're hiking along on our little river rim trail kind of here on the side, we came across this weird plant. Not sure what kind of plant this is, but I'm going to ask them back at camp if anybody knows.
Later, Matt the Southwest Backpacker was able to identify this plant. It's called a round-leaf buffalo berry. The name comes from Western settlers using the cooked berries in a sauce for eating buffalo meat. As we continued down the trail, I was so happy that I suddenly felt like singing.
It's amazing, it's amazing.
As we all journey through life, it's vital to take in where you are and what you're doing, but more importantly, who you were with in these wonderful moments. I was fortunate enough to be canoeing, camping, and hiking on the Green River, but what made it even more special was the fact that I got to experience all this with my brother Daniel. This trip will always have a special spot in my heart. It has brought me happiness and an experience of a lifetime that I hope to experience again in the future.
All right, this was a great little hike on day 2, huh, brother? Really enjoyed it. A lot of more rock formations and stuff. We did a little scrambling as usual and just took in a lot of views and got a lot of pictures and video. Awesome.
When we arrived back at camp, the board gaming had begun. We watched the guys finish up a fun game of Meeple War. And then it was Matt's turn to make dinner.
That tasted great. Trust me.
All right, so Southwest Backpackers making dinner tonight.
Doing some tamales.
There they are. All right, they're going on.
I'm gonna throw them on here.
We're gonna use the entire space. I'll try to keep them all facing the same way so I know that I'm flipping them right, but we'll try and flip them over.
What do you say, 5 minutes
On
each side?
5 minutes on each side for 20 minutes.
All right, that's gonna be awesome. We'll update you later. And I can already tell you they're gonna be yummy because I've had these before with Matt out in the mountains.
That's awesome. You just buy them and cook them. That's it.
Yep.
After about 20 minutes and a couple of flips, the tamales were ready.
Okay, so I took the corn husks off the tamales, and you can see the masa is nice and caramelized here on the outside, kind of all the way around the outside of the entire tamale. And yeah, got some red chili in the middle and some pork in there, and it's nice and steamy. Nice and
All right.
steamy.
That's
Yum.
the payoff right there for
Yum.
all the video. Looking really good.
Yum.
Matt tried a bite while in the background, Terry was preparing a pot of black beans to go with the tamales. That was a yummy dinner of red chili tamales and black beans. So after night came on, we decided to go down and see why it's called Bee Camp. I got some video of the bees, but I was very careful not to disturb them.
So this is why they call it bee camp. They've lived in here probably for years. What a great little bee home.
The campfire was a usual gathering spot, and we enjoyed the warmth of the fire after a wonderful and long day of adventures. And of course, a little slow-motion campfire always adds to the experience. Personally, I've always enjoyed a nice campfire, and tonight was no exception. What a wonderful and fun day.
Last bit of lights fading here. We're having a nice campfire, and this is the view.
The night was calm. The fire was a warm place to enjoy with my brother and some good friends. It doesn't get any better than this. I had a feeling of complete calm and tranquility at tonight's campsite. The friendship, the food, the canoes, the canyons, and now warming my bones beside the fire. I felt like I died and went to heaven, and if that was the case, then I was completely happy with that. During the campfire experience, Terry, Matt, and myself went down to the kitchen area and filled up a few bottles with some of the filtered water from the Green River. The water was both cold and refreshing. These guys had a proven way to filter the water and make it safe for drinking and cooking. What another great experience! We returned to the warmth of the campfire, where we took turns playing guitar before Matt, the Southwest backpacker, played a small concert for us.
Right on, dude. That was awesome.
That was a great way to end the night, and soon it was time to escape to the tents for some much-needed shut-eye. We had the river as our soundtrack for a restful sleep and some pleasant dreams about tomorrow.
All right, folks. Thanks a lot for watching. Day number 3 is complete. I'm in the tent, about to go to sleep, and just smiling because it was a beautiful day. Lots of nice hiking and boating and people laughing, as you can hear down by the campfire still. Just a really good camaraderie, good food, and beautiful scenery. Can't really complain at all. So anyway, as usual, love, hate. Take care of each other. Okay, we're saying goodbye to camp number 3. But what a beautiful location to have a night of sleep in and a little fun around the campfire. We played guitar last night and sang and had a great dinner. It was awesome. All right, good morning, folks. I'm in the tent. It's about 7 o'clock on day number 4. And my tent is a mess. I got to get this cleaned up and ready to go because about 90 minutes we're going to launch these boats and head down to Bow-Knot Bend. Stay tuned. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, now we're at the part where we're breaking down everything and packing up to leave again. Okay, well, it's that part of the morning where all the gear is down here, and we are getting a chain gang going down the side of the hill to get everything loaded. So that all goes, not the black tote, but the rest of this here all goes in mine and Daniel's boat. Not to mention a cooler and the groover. So the day continues.
We're gonna come around here and stop here and hike into the middle of this to where we can see this part of the water all the way around the bow knot to this part of the water. And one day that will actually join and that won't go around anymore. But
That's gonna be awesome.
then we
Can't
paddle
wait.
down, and ledge camp is actually at the end of this. It's on the other side, and it's actually right there.
So that's where the mighty ledge camp is.
That's where Mighty Ledge Camp
That's where we're
is.
gonna be.
They call it 2 Mile Canyon.
That's our last camp of the trip then?
That is
And
the
the
last
layover.
camp, and that's our layover.
Okay, sweet. All right, good morning, folks. We are the first ones to launch today, and we are down here when the magic hour is still happening. You can see all the beautiful reflections and all the red rock shining in the morning sun over here.
I can't far from here.
Yeah, we hiked pretty far yesterday.
It doesn't look like it from here though. It's crazy.
So everybody is getting packed up and heading out. We're heading down to the Bow Knot Bend here in a little bit, and that's going to be our first hike of the day.
The rest of the crew finished packing the canoes in the cool early morning air.
All right, another beautiful, relaxing day, brother. Can't go wrong, man. It's just a beautiful location. And that blue heron again, of course, I mean, that's always fun to be able to see a wild critter out here. Bow Knot Bend's probably not too far away. I'm going to take a quick look here in the map book and find out exactly where that location's at. So let's take a
The
look.
Bow Knot Bend was here, and we weren't too far away. The landing spot was just a short distance, and we'd be there in a few minutes.
So yeah, Daniel, we're going up to the top of that thing.
The Green River had cast its magical spell. The look on my face describes it all. True happiness from within can be achieved. All it takes is some great family and some beautiful desert wilderness.
Gentlemen, how goes it?
Hey, it's going good.
So this is
All right.
that saddle that's in that map book then.
Rock and roll.
That's
I recognize some guys.
around and almost touch this spot.
Okay, we paddled about a mile or two this morning down to the Bow Knot Bend, where we are going to hike up to the top here in a minute. All the boats are here. Everybody's heading up. I'm gonna start heading that direction up the trail here in just a minute. Awesome. Trail's pretty easy to follow. See the folks up ahead. Oh yeah. Beautiful.
We continued hiking in the desert wilderness. Every step forward was rewarding as we continued up the trail into the wild.
Well, that's the trail up. We're heading that way right now. Good howdy. All right, folks, we've been scrambling up this, and it gets a little bit more technical when you go up, but it's not too bad. Did ya? So yeah, there's a couple technical scrambles here getting up this stuff. This is what we just came up. Whew. Out of breath. All right, so we're almost to the top of the Bow Knot Bend here, the part where we can see both rivers. I think it's gonna be pretty awesome. Lots of climbing. Definitely out of breath. All right, here's the gap. We came up from down there at the river, and now you can see the river here, and then the river 7 miles away over here. It's a big loop to get back to this point. Awesome.
The views from the top of the Bow Knot Bend were amazing. I had dreamed of being here for almost a decade, and now here I was, and it was even better than I imagined.
All right, there you go, folks. This part of the river on the right is the one we're going down, and after a 7-mile loop, we'll be on this one on the left. Can't believe it. It's just so incredibly beautiful. I would say if you're a newbie to hiking, you haven't done a lot of rugged hikes, this is definitely not the hike for someone who's not experienced. This thing is rugged and on the edge on both sides. One false move and you're gonna be hurting pretty bad.
I continued hiking across the top toward my brother and friends. Everywhere around me was intense beauty, and I knew I was fortunate to be here now. My brother went down to the edge and took in the magnificent view. I soon joined him as a bird flew through the frame. The feeling of absolute love and respect I had at this moment made me feel like a free bird, flying in a dream, on a stairway to heaven, in a moment that was one for all and all for one. After taking in the views and capturing some stunning photographs, we all signed the guest log on top before heading back down the trail. It was nice to visit this amazing place, but we had a lot more miles to cover on the river before the next campsite. We needed to get moving and continue our journey down the Green River. What a great day to be alive. I felt like I was in the perfect place at the right time and with the most wonderful people. The Bow Knot Bend was named by geologist John Wesley Powell in 1869 during one of his famous explorations of the rivers in the American West. We felt fortunate to be able to follow some of the same river as this historic figure. We got back to our canoes and continued downriver and saw another heron taking off.
Trying to get a shot of the bird.
As we continued to canoe down this beautiful stretch of the Green River, we realized how fortunate we were to be able to experience something so wonderful. This was indeed a trip of a lifetime, and I let the wild spirit in the area take over as I became more and more connected to the Green River. This section of the Green River Canyon in eastern Utah is known as Bow Knot Bend, because of the way the river doubles back on itself so close that the two sections of the river are just 0.2 of a mile apart. The loop carries river canoeists approximately 7 miles before bringing them back to nearly the same point they started from, though from the other side of the low, narrow saddle.
Alright folks, we are on the other side of the Bow Knot Bend. Earlier today we were up in the middle of this lower section. Absolutely amazing to think we hiked up from the other side to this, and now we crossed it 8 or so miles later. Still got a couple more miles to go to camp, but we're looking forward to it. Amazing day. Holy cow, the wind has been crazy. Just nuts.
Once we came around the Bow Knot Bend, the wind was right in our faces and very intense at times. The last few miles of paddling was very tough. We needed to stay focused to keep the canoe straight in the water. The winds were gusting up to 30 and 40 miles per hour, and the waves on the river were as high as the top of the canoe at times. It was a tough few miles of paddling, but even in this adverse weather, the team came together and continued to succeed on our journey as we looked for a new campsite. Turns out that ledge camp was taken, so we landed on a sandbar downstream a mile or so. There was a campsite nearby, but the walk to get to it was too far with all the gear we had. The water in the area was very shallow and we couldn't paddle through it with the weight of the gear, canoes, and people. We had to walk about a half mile in the river to find a better canoe docking area that was closer to the new campsite. The wind and the water started to take its toll on the group.
Alright, we've been walking the last quarter mile or so in the river, trying to keep the boat from bottoming out. This crazy wind, it's just making everything tougher. We got lucky till now, but now it's not even light wind anymore. This is like hurricane
Before we knew it, we found the perfect spot, and just like that, our canoe part of the day's journey had come to an end.
All right, folks, this is day number 4, camp number 4. What an outstanding, beautiful view that we have here. Now there's a lot of space here, so everybody's kind of spread out, and we all have some good camp spots, and just beautiful, and it's in the shade already, which is even cooler. Okay, so this is the spot that I chose to camp. My tent will go right there. As you see, it's already there. Got all my gear over here, and check out this view from this side. It's pretty outstanding. This will be where the back of the tent is at, but the front door of my tent is going to be seeing this when I wake up in the morning. And I got to tell you, that is an outstanding view. Absolutely love it. Okay, here you can see there's a blue bag, but behind the blue bag, back in there, is a green bag. That is where my gear is at right there. Let me show you where my brother's camping at for the night. He is setting up over here, and it looks like it's going to be a pretty outstanding spot, so let's go over and visit him, shall we? All right, that's going to be his view there. How cool is that? All right, look at that. That's a sweet spot you found, man. Okay, so it's later in the day. It's about 5:30 Utah time. Day 4. And we decided to do a little side hike above camp here. The wind has finally calmed down. It was crazy earlier. Just white cap waves on the river and big wind right in our face. But it's calmed down quite a bit, and now you can see where we're at. And this place is awesome. I would love to roll some time-lapse video on these clouds coming in. We are definitely going to get some moisture. You can see your tent now, dude. All right, folks, that is where we're camping. You see in the lower part of the screen Daniel's green tent. In the upper middle, my maroon and gray tent. Let me back out and show you where that's at exactly. Oh, sorry. Back out. There you go. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so on our afternoon hike, we've been discovering some unusual and weird rock formations. Look at this. You can see through it. That's just awesome. These rocks are just so weird. Just look at all this.
The rock formations in the canyon were amazing. Everywhere we looked was intense beauty and color. Along the hike, we made some fun discoveries, such as a pool of water in the desert. This water looks dirty, but it can be filtered to make it safe to drink with the correct equipment. We didn't need any water, so we just took a picture instead. Then the sun started to set.
The skies are so intense right now. I mean, it doesn't look like the sun should be shining at all when you see that. But it's just, that is awesome. All right, so here's the camping spot that I picked for Wednesday night, day number 4. Looks like a pretty good spot to me. Can't complain. Why don't we go in and take a closer look? Okay, you can see I got a tarp behind here with some supplies on it, so I can remain organized as much as possible. Most of that stuff will get put away tonight in dry sacks and covered up. And then the tent, dun 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 dun, dun 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 dun. So you can kind of see in there through the screen. It's looking pretty good. Here, why don't we open it up for you real quick? Okay, there you go. That's where I'm sleeping at for the night, and should be pretty comfortable. Looking forward to it.
After getting video of the inside of my tent, I stood up and turned around and discovered that the sunset was intensely beautiful. I felt like the most fortunate person in the world at that moment. The Green River in Utah had not disappointed. It's every bit as beautiful and peaceful as I had ever imagined. My dream of visiting here was indeed a great dream, and now, here I was in the middle of that dream and not wanting to ever wake up. I enjoyed the last of the sunset as nightfall slowly took over the surrounding area. I looked back at my tent as I felt the tranquility of tonight's campsite take over my wild spirit. A short while later, I went to experience the campfire with my brother and friends. We found a perfect spot that was out of the wind and quite cozy.
All right, another successful day. Even with all the crazy wind today, this has ended up being a beautiful campsite, an awesome day. Having our little campfire, wrapping it up for the night. Anyway, tune back tomorrow because we'll be hiking up to a place called the Windows, so it's going to be very beautiful. Nice long hike and some rock arches, so we can't go wrong with that.
The moon rose above our campsite as we gathered to make s'mores around the fire. We melted marshmallows over the campfire and made some sweet treats. Another amazing day on the Green River, and now we got to have some evening snacks after dinner. The moon lit up the surrounding area nicely and made the ambience even better. After a great campfire experience, it was time to brush and floss before heading off to the tent for some much needed shut-eye. I knew I would sleep great tonight and have good dreams about tomorrow.
So, anyway, as usual, love, hate. Take care of each other.
Good morning, folks. It's Thursday, day 5 of 6. It's cold outside this morning. The wind is intense again and it's a cold breeze. I'm not complaining. It's just an observation of the current conditions. I'm still a happy camper, but I do feel a little sad that the trip will be ending tomorrow. So today is our last full day and we have a great hike planned. We will all hike to the Windows, and I'm super excited. We're still at the Green River and can't complain even with the cold breeze. It's nice. We got a layover day. We're in the beautiful canyon that we go exploring later back here behind me. Oh, that sun feels nice and warm. It was calm for the first part of the evening last night, but after everyone retired to their tents, the winds came back with quite some force. You can see the tent moving in the breeze right now. This was happening quite a bit last night, so sleep did not happen real well for all of us. However, we were able to be out of the breeze and stay warm in our tents. It was cozy and warm in my sleeping bag and fleece liner. I stayed toasty inside there until it was my time to start the day. I went down to the Green River and captured some photographs of our canoes and the surrounding landscape. It was a beautiful morning even with all the wind. The skies were clear and a very intense blue. I felt once again in tune with this beautiful and vast landscape.
Best camp spot here ever. Actually, they've all been outstanding.
Terry made a great breakfast for all of us called a Gila hash, which is a mix of breakfast foods on a tortilla with cheese and green chili. It was yummy. After breakfast, we decided to start our hike to the Windows. So we threw on our backpacks and we were on our way.
All right. Hiking up to the Windows in the wind. All right. See the whole group's here. Everybody's hiking up. We're going to see some beautiful stuff today. Should be pretty cool. Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for coming along.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and today we're going to do just over 6 miles of that. The early morning air felt good as we traversed the landscape together. I've been looking forward to this hike since I first saw a video of it 4 years earlier on the Southwest Backpacker YouTube channel. And now, here we all were about to embark on a very intense but beautiful journey.
The canyon keeps changing the further back we get in here. I can't say it's more beautiful than anything else, but it's just as beautiful as everything we've seen. It's an amazing place.
All around us were these amazing red canyon walls. The blue skies seemed more blue than usual, and I was feeling the energy of this place like a spiritual connection.
All right, continuing the trail up to the Windows. We'll see where it takes us. I'll tell you what, I've canoed more miles this week than I ever have, and hiked more miles than I probably have in a long time. But it's worth it because look at this. How can you complain? It's beautiful up here.
The red rocks were amazing, and I felt fortunate to be here. What a beautiful area to canoe, camp, and hike.
I tell you what, this is a rugged, on the side of a canyon type of trail. But awesome nonetheless. It's day 5 here in Utah, the 2019 Green River trip. And all 8 folks, I think, have had themselves a wonderful time. And it's been fairly easy, although yesterday, the last 5 miles of canoeing into that intense wind, that took a lot of extra energy. But once again, you know, all good things in life come from hard work, and this today is a good thing in life. Okay, down there where the shadow ends, there's a drainage ditch, a arroyo. That's where we came up. So we came up all this stuff up here, followed this little trail, and of course some of these rock garns help too, and we still got a lot to go to get to the top. But it'll be worth it just to be able to see those windows finally. So the trail is a lot of this kind of stuff right here. Little loose, broken rock stuff, and then occasional patches of sand in between. So it's not a trail I would send a beginner up, but check it out. And keep switching back. So it's not straight up in a row, but oh boy, I'm feeling it. It's awesome, but tiring. I will say one nice thing about this hike is so far it's been in the shade. Even though it's not hot today, when you're working this hard going up, you get hot. So it's really nice to have a shade on our way up here.
On our way up, we passed many interesting rock formations. The hiking was rugged, but rewarding. We continued onward as a team as the sun started to shine overhead. The landscape felt so alive and full of intense colors. It had me wishing I was an artistic painter and had supplies with me to stop and paint this beautiful desert landscape. However, video was my choice for painting a picture, and I hope I captured some nice moments here. The hiking continued as we got closer and closer to the top.
Oh my goodness. So happy to be on a somewhat level trail. Oh, hell, that going up was intense. I bet we cleared 1,000 feet or more of elevation at this point, because we came up from the bottom of that, and that is a good distance from here now. So wow. Whew. Okay, so we're continuing the journey. You can see some folks on the next level up there, and they are up above where we're at, but we're getting so much closer to the top. It's a truly glorious day.
I couldn't help myself. I continued capturing video of everything. All around me was some beautiful landscape, and I wanted to take it all in while I was here. I love to capture nice moments and experiences, and then I have it documented and I can edit it down as a memory to share. On the way up the canyon, my brother and I stopped and talked about the possible age of this old tree. Has it been here for hundreds of years, or just a few decades? I guess we'll never know. The team was getting closer to the top, and our energy levels were rising while the excitement was building. The rocks along the way helped to build the suspense. What was the trail like on top? What would we see? Was it easy to follow? Well, we'd have answers to these questions and more very soon.
What do you think, man? That's at least 1,000 feet of elevation change. I bet. Whew. All right, so there's definitely some sections that you could consider rock climbing on this. Totally awesome. Are you on the summit, Daniel, or is there more?
There's like another 100 feet probably.
Oh man, awesome. There he is, Southwest Backpacker. I'm almost there, brother.
It was my turn to head up the notch and complete the steep section of hiking. I was out of breath a lot on that last part. That's because gravity can be cruel and beautiful.
Boy, that's a climb and a half, Matt. You did that 4 years ago by yourself, partially in the dark. I'm impressed, man. And I'd like to dedicate this climb, which was a very tough climb, to my other half, Karen, who can't be here today, but she would have loved this stuff when we were hiking together. So, all right, we're on the top.
After arriving on the top, I needed a moment to catch my breath and take in this magnificent view. The rest of the group had the same idea as we all stood in awe of the amazing views all around us.
Okay, so we're hiking over to the windows, which is way over there still. So we're gonna have to traverse around all this to get there, but Matt made a good point of knowing about this pile of rocks with the stick in it. That's the notch to go back down. There's not a lot of notches to go back down, so better remember this one.
We paused for a moment, and then we captured a picture of my brother Daniel and I standing on the edge of the world.
All right, folks, we are on the top of this particular section. We are heading back this direction here around in a minute. The windows are back there, so we're gonna go that direction, and the hike continues. It's been great so far. Okay, so we're gonna go across all of that, but at least it's somewhat flat. That always makes the hiking a little bit easier, even though we're exposed to the sun now. The wind is down quite a bit, and it's gonna be awesome. There goes the group, everybody's heading down. It's gonna be amazing. Oh, the formations keep changing on us, it's beautiful.
It is pretty crazy.
Alright, we're heading up this direction. Matt will show us the way.
We continued onward into the unknown. The rock was beautiful as we felt connected to the area. I knew I was fortunate to be here, and I was not going to take any of this for granted. I wanted to take it all in. I wanted to be a part of it all. I could hear the rocks, the trees, the wind, and the sky talking to me. And they were all saying the same thing. Respect us, and you are welcome here anytime. Respect I did, and I felt truly thankful to be welcomed here. A short time later, we arrived at the top of the windows. I paused to take some pictures. One of our group hiked over to take a look down. I realized then how huge the landscape here really is. My mind is blown again. We knew this place was amazing as we started our hike around the top and looked for a way down to the bottom of the arches. I had to stop again and take more photos. I couldn't stop smiling as I did. I was smiling so much that my face was starting to hurt. There's my brother taking a break at the edge of the world, taking it all in. What an amazing place. I was so happy we got to experience this together, and I felt very thankful to have him here.
Alright, we are getting closer to the windows, but I wanted to show you this interesting rock formation right here. Check this out. You can see right through it. That's pretty cool. Very neat.
The trees here were intense and beautiful. Then all of a sudden, there it was, the windows, also known as Colonnade Arch or Five-Hole Arch as it's commonly known by. It's a stunning high arch above the Green River and 2 Mile Canyon. The arch is unique with its 5 openings. My dream of hiking here started 4 years ago, and now here I was standing right in front of it. Wow! I have to thank my good friends Terry and Matt for sharing their knowledge and experience of this amazing place. It's a memory I'll never forget.
Alright, getting closer. Absolutely beautiful. Wow. Made it. It's a pretty big hike, but worth every moment and every struggle. This is the windows. you go. See why they call it the windows. You can look out and see almost forever. Wow.
A word of caution. The hike up from the Green River is short, around 6 miles round trip, and the navigation not particularly difficult. But many groups have wandered around for quite some time trying to locate the arch. It's difficult to spot until you're right at it, so be prepared to wander a bit if needed, though a sharp eye will spot quite a few rock herons along the way. The Windows hike did not disappoint, and now here I was inside the formation and feeling really connected to it all.
Wow, guys. The windows. First of all, I'd like to thank Matt for showing this place and sharing his video with the world on YouTube, because I would have never known this place existed, and it is outstanding. You would never believe how good of a feeling it is to be here with all the work we had to do to get here. But thank you once again, and folks, check out the Southwest Backpacker YouTube channel. He's the guy that inspired me to come and do this trip. It's the guy that's doing camera for me right now, and I really appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
We were high above Labyrinth Canyon in the Green River, and the views were awesome from up here. Depending on how you count them, the arch has between 5 and 7 arch openings. Some are unique skylight arches in the ceiling.
All right, the windows from the inside.
Here's some additional information about this area in Utah. The final approach to the arch is over slick rock domes on a route marked only by the occasional rock herons. Use extreme caution near exposed ledges, especially with children and pets. A GPS and a map along with good navigation skills are strongly recommended. This area can be extremely hot during spring, summer, and fall, so carry plenty of water and wear appropriate clothing. It is also advisable to bring some snacks with you while hiking here, and don't forget to bring a first aid kit just in case. One last thought. No amount of gear is guaranteed to make a hike 100% safe. Only good judgment and experience can help with that. So enjoy, be safe, take only photographs, and leave only footprints.
All right, folks, that was the windows. Now we're heading back to camp. Got about a 3-mile hike. We're heading back down into there. You can see the trail, actually. And then we'll head down to the river, and that's where we're gonna be for the night. Last full day here, last full night here as well. And then we're back to town after that, so what a great trip. So the notch that we came up on is over there on the other side. We're heading back that direction now, and then there's a lot of hiking down. It's weird because from here it doesn't look like there's a way down the side of that for hiking wise, but there sure is, and we're gonna go find it.
We continued around the top of the canyon through the beautiful desert landscape. Before we knew it, we were back at the notch and starting down the steep sections of the hike. All around us were interesting plants and rocks. Landscape looked like it could be on another planet or something from a movie or a painting. Next, it was my turn to start down the notch and continue the journey back to camp. As I climbed downward, I had an almost nostalgic feeling about the windows and the hike to get there. It was like I was in a dream that I never wanted to wake up from. I was still on the hike, but I was in the memory of the hike at the same time. What an unusual feeling. Now we would take the long hike back to camp and have a wonderful and well-earned meal. Tonight was my turn to make dinner, and I had something special planned, but before I could do that, I had to complete this intense hike. The next section was the toughest and required total concentration and focus. But I knew we were a safe group, so I had no worries at all.
was an intense hike, but well worth it to make it to the top up there behind me to the infamous windows. Probably gonna be 6 or more miles round trip by the time we're done. A lot of that was going up, so I'm beat. But it's a good beat. I feel like I earned it. Alright, my brother out-hiked me by quite a bit. He was miles ahead of me. But he stopped and chilled out and waited for me just in case. Thanks for waiting, brother. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, it was.
Just like that, the hike was over and we were all safely back at camp.
All right, howdy, folks. It is day number 5 here on the Green River, and we're about to make dinner. And I brought Ramen Bombs. So come over real quick. Now, in case you're wondering what a Ramen Bomb is, these are 2 of the main ingredients. You got your ramen, you got your mashed potatoes, and then you have some form of meat. In some cases, it's Spam. In other cases, it can be chicken or tuna or whatever you want to make it out of. So we're going to get these things going, and hopefully we're going to have a good stick-to-your-ribs meal. So join me, shall you? Okay, so we got the Spam all chopped up. We got our waters just about boiling. Got some chicken. And then, of course, our ramen and our potatoes. It's all going to go together nicely in just a minute. Okay, so this is the chicken ramen bomb, and this is the Spam ramen bomb. We'll see how they both taste here in just a minute. There you go. Any thoughts so far?
Tasty. I like it.
Like I said, it's kind of a stick-to-your-ribs kind of food. It's weird ramen and potatoes together at first, but once you get used to it, it's really a tasty little treat.
After a yummy and filling dinner, we all retired to the campfire for some much-needed warmth. I've always enjoyed the campfire experience, and tonight was no exception. I love the warmth of the fire, the conversations, and the gathering of family and friends. And of course, what camping video wouldn't be complete without some slow-motion campfire? Wow, look at the colors and movement. It's a truly beautiful thing. After a couple hours of campfire time, I was ready to get some shut-eye and went to my tent. I would fall asleep quickly tonight after that amazing hike to the windows.
As usual, love, hate, take care of each other.
As I got into my tent, I started to think about how it was our last night here. I couldn't help but get a little teared up, but at the same time I felt very happy that I got to have this wonderful experience.
Good howdy, folks. Welcome back to another James Blackburn experience. As you can see, it's early morning here in the mountains. Well, actually, I'm sorry, these aren't the mountains, the canyons of the Green River. So it's still pretty dark out. It's going on 7 o'clock in the morning, and we are almost out of here. This is the last day.
The stars still hung overhead as I took in the beauty of the Green River. The early morning air was around 22 degrees Fahrenheit, but still felt very nice. With our headlamps on, we teamed up and brought the gear down to the beach. We packed the gear into the canoes as we anticipated our journey down the Green River. What a great experience. I felt very thankful to be here right now.
All right. Last day, 6 days, 5 nights in the Green River. Absolutely loved it. And we are happy to be here. All right, the adventure continues. Camp 4 and 5, you served us well. All right, folks, well, we have officially launched. Last day of canoeing on the Green River this year for us. But what an amazing experience. Loved every minute of it, even the tough stuff.
As we canoed down the river in the early morning, we begin to reminisce about our adventure. Here's a look back at the last 5 days of memories here on the Green River in Utah. Enjoy. Cue the flashback harp sound here. there it is. The Green River in Utah. 6 days and 5 nights. 8 friends, 4 canoes, and a whole bunch of gear.
Look at that sky, man. Isn't that awesome? Ooh, that tree growing out of the rock. That's kind of neat. Yeah, the big one and the small one, they're both kind of neat. Like Lord of the Rings looking.
Area, we got this wonderful beach spot right here, so I can't complain. I'm loving it.
Oh, the temperature's perfect. So we're outside in the sun right now, but it's
We're
not,
not suffering.
baking.
It's not
painful.
oppressive.
Yeah, it feels great. And this is going to be a good campsite.
All right. Daniel, any thoughts on your first time being here?
Purple Martians.
All right, that's perfect. I love it. I'm blown away by the reflection of the rocks in the water because it reminds me of a Bob Ross kind of painting. It's just so outstanding. If I could paint, I would paint stuff like this. All right, we made it to camp number 2. Here's the last of our party. All right, so we've been here relaxing and getting camp set up. As you can see, it's all taken care of. Very beautiful. We claimed this little beautiful spot of real estate right under this trees here, so we're in the shade. And what do you think, brother?
It's awesome, man.
It's gonna be cool, huh?
Very cool.
You got it, Danielson. You're looking good there, man. Nice. Yep, rock climbing skills coming in handy. Yeah, good job.
I'll be right up.
Okay, here we go, folks. Boat number 4 is officially launching. We're gonna flip this boat around and head downstream. Oh, look, brother's already got it going. I'll catch up with you here in just a second, man. Early in the morning, sun's coming up. On the map, this is a pretty notable thing up here from September 1st, 1909.
A little while later, we arrived at our next campsite. The views from where we docked our canoes was nothing short of amazing. Every day we spent on the Green River was better than the last. I'm so glad I finally made it here, and with these wonderful people. This was definitely some of the most beautiful camping we'd ever done.
You can see the Green River down below. And we're gonna be floating down this thing again sometime tomorrow. Okay, we're saying goodbye to camp number 3. But what a beautiful location to have a night of sleep in and a little fun around the campfire. All right, good morning, folks. We are the first ones to launch today. And we are down here when the magic hour is still happening.
True happiness from within can be achieved. All it takes is some great family and some beautiful desert wilderness.
Okay, we paddled about a mile or 2 this morning down to the Bow Knot Bend, where we are going to hike up to the top here in a minute. A couple technical scrambles here, getting up this stuff. All right, there you go, folks. This part of the river on the right is the one we're going down, and after a 7-mile loop, we'll be on this one on the left. Day number 4. Looks like a pretty good spot to me.
Good morning, folks. It's Thursday, day 5 of 6. It's cold outside this morning. The wind is intense again and it's a cold breeze. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and today we're going to do just over 6 miles of that.
Continuing the trail up to the windows.
The hiking continued as we got closer and closer to the top.
That's at least 1,000 feet of elevation change.
After arriving on the top, I needed a moment to catch my breath and take in this magnificent view. We knew this place was amazing as we started our hike around the top and looked for a way down to the bottom of the arches. It's a stunning high arch above the Green River and 2 Mile Canyon. The Windows hike did not disappoint, and now here I was inside the formation and feeling really connected to it all. Back to our last day on the Green River.
Here comes the sun. Do-do-do. It's alright.
Feels great. Yeah, it's 9:20, so We're doing good on time. Last day of awesomeness. All right, folks. Green River has treated us well. We have enjoyed the heck out of being out here with this beautiful surrounding landscape. 6 days, 5 nights. Totally worth it and an awesome thing to be a part of. Thank you once again, brother, for coming out and being a part of it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it a lot.
As we continued the few miles of canoeing to the takeout point, we enjoyed the last of the beautiful views of the warm morning sun. Soon we would be to Mineral Bottom and the trip would come to an end.
The van and the trailer is pulling up here, and we are just now finishing the unloading of our boats. So 8 people, 4 boats carried all this stuff. I don't know how we made it, but we did. We are at Mineral Bottom boat ramp, and the takeout has begun. Heading back to Moab here in a little while.
We pulled the canoes up on the shore and made sure they were cleaned out properly. Then we could get them loaded onto the trailer and finalize for the journey back to town. This had been quite a wonderful trip.
All right, folks, well, we're almost completely loaded back here and ready to go, and it wraps up 6 days and 5 nights on the Green River. Now we're gonna head back to Moab and have some more adventures there before we have to go home tomorrow.
On day 1, we put in at Ruby Ranch, and then we traveled 6 days and 5 nights down the Green River. We canoed through Labyrinth Canyon and around Bow Knot Bend. We traveled close to 50 miles down the Green River. On day 6, we took out at Mineral Bottom, and I felt very happy to have this wonderful experience. Special thanks to my brother Daniel for traveling here and being a part of it all. Thank you to Terry, our trip leader, and Matt, the Southwest backpacker. This trip was both safe and fun with your guidance. And of course the rest of the group. You all made this a wonderful experience. Thank you all. After the gear and canoes were loaded, we all piled into the van for the long drive back to town. We all felt tired but invigorated after this wonderful trip. It was a bumpy dirt road and there was a lot of dust, but it's still an enjoyable part of the journey. Another great day to be alive. I was truly fortunate and knew it. My heart overflows as my brain face begins to smile.
Tonight we're staying at a place called the Redstone here in Moab. We are in room 205, non-smoking of course. And it's a little double occupancy room here. Pretty sweet. Little area here and television. And of course there's a bathroom in there, and then we have a little kitchenette, so not too bad.
On our last night in Moab, we were staying at the Redstone Inn. After exploring town and finding some dinner, we returned and I saw these wonderful neon lights. I enjoy seeing these type of vintage materials when I travel, and here we also had a nice old car. We then retired to our rooms and slept very well. It was one of the greatest adventures a person could ever have, and now it was time to plan the next trip, coming soon.
As usual, love, love, hate, hate. Take care of each other.
Thank you, my friends, for watching the James Blackburn Experience Green River series. Your viewership is much appreciated. Please check out my YouTube channel for almost 900 additional video adventures.
Purple Martians.